Hello, and welcome back to Let's Deep Dive, the podcast where we delve into the most chilling and complex criminal cases from around the world. Today, we are going to a place and a time that shattered a nation's perception of crime. We are going to Western Maharashtra, to the years between 1990 and 1996 to uncover the horrifying story of two sisters whose crimes were so heinous they were sentenced to death, becoming a landmark case in Indian legal history. This is the story of Renuka Shinde and Seema Gavit, infamously known as the Killer Sisters. In a country where the idea of a serial killer, especially a female one, was largely confined to Western movies and novels, the Gavit sisters and their mother, Anjana Bai, were a chilling reality. Their story isn't about grand motives or a twisted ideology. It's a brutal, pragmatic, and heartbreaking tale of using innocence as a weapon. Our story begins with the matriarch of this criminal trio, Anjana Bai, a woman with a long history of thefts and pickpocketing. She had two daughters, Renuka and Seema, born from different marriages. After her second husband, Mohan Gavit, left her due to her criminal lifestyle, a deep-seated desire for revenge took root. Anjana Bai, Renuka and Seema continued their life of crime, moving through cities like Pune, Thane and Kolhapur. Their modus operandi was simple but effective. They would frequent crowded places, temples, bus stands, festivals and commit thefts. But they soon discovered a powerful shield, a child. In 1990, during a theft attempt at the Chaturshingi temple in Pune, Renuka was caught, but she managed to evade punishment by using her own toddler son. She cried, she pleaded, arguing that a mother with a small child could not be a thief. The crowd, filled with sympathy, let her go. This moment was a perverse epiphany for the family. They realized that a child could be their ultimate distraction, a perfect tool to evoke sympathy and avoid suspicion. And that's when their crimes escalated from theft to kidnapping and ultimately murder.
The trio began to kidnap children, mostly toddlers from places where they were most vulnerable. They would use these children as a human shield. When one of the women was caught stealing, she would deliberately injure the child, creating a chaotic scene. The bystanders, horrified by the child's distress, would focus on helping the innocent victim while the Gavit sisters made their escape. It's an act of cruelty that is difficult to even comprehend. The kidnapped children, once no longer useful for their criminal activities, were disposed of. The prosecution during the trial alleged that they would kill the children to prevent them from identifying their abductors. One account states they dropped a crying 7-month-old baby just to silence him. In another instance, they were accused of hanging a 2-year-old boy upside down and slamming his head against a wall. The sheer brutality of these acts shocked the conscience of the entire country. Their motive was not passion or revenge, but cold, hard pragmatism. They needed a new child for every crime to keep up the charade. They were a revolving door of innocence, kidnapping children and then discarding them when they had served their purpose. The victims were many. The police believed they killed over 40 children, though they were only convicted for 5 murders and the kidnapping of 13 children. The trial was a grim recitation of horrors. Renuka's husband Kiran Shinde, who had been arrested along with the trio, turned approver. His testimony provided crucial details of how the crimes were committed and how the bodies were disposed of, strengthening the prosecution's case.
The final act in this gruesome drama came in October 1996. The sisters and their mother, driven by Anjana Bai's old vendetta, kidnapped the 9-year-old daughter of Mohan Gavit's new wife.
The child was brutally killed and her body was dumped in a sugarcane field. They were finally arrested when they tried to kidnap another of Mohan Gavit's daughters. The law finally caught up with them. The trial was a long and arduous process. The Sessions Court at Kolhapur found the sisters guilty in 2001 and sentenced them to death. The Bombay High Court upheld this conviction in 2004, and the Supreme Court of India confirmed the death penalty in 2006. The case of Renuka, Shinde and Seema Gavit was a legal and social landmark. They were the first women in India to be given the death penalty. While their mother Anjanabai died in prison before the trial concluded, the two sisters fought their sentence for years. They filed mercy petitions with the President of India, which were ultimately rejected in 2014. However, in 2022, their death sentences were commuted to life imprisonment for the remainder of their natural lives by the Bombay High Court, citing an inordinate delay in the decision on their mercy petitions. This decision in turn was upheld by the Supreme Court, but with a specific directive that they would serve life imprisonment for natural life without any remission, meaning they will never be eligible for parole or furlough. The Gavit sisters' case is a chilling reminder of the darker side of human nature, a story of how a seemingly simple criminal act can spiral into a series of unthinkable atrocities. It exposes how family dynamics can become a breeding ground for crime and how sometimes the most unexpected individuals can be capable of the most monstrous acts.
That concludes our episode on the Gavit sisters. Join us next time as we explore another case from the shadows of criminal history. Thank you for listening.